Hey, what's up? David here with After VideoFX and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be creating this moss weed mold effect on a brick texture, and it's similar to the effect that we created for our moss and crack effect on this window frame. So yeah, similar techniques and just a lot of fun. Alright, so let's take a look at what we're going to be creating. Alright, so I hope you enjoy that. So let's get straight into it. So we're going to make a new comp and we're going to call this Mould FX. Okay, I'm just going to bring it out here. And let's take our brick texture and drop it into a new comp. Drop it in here, sorry. I'll leave a link for where you can download this. And we're going to pre-compose this. So Control-Shift-C. Move all attributes and call this background here. Okay. And let's go ahead and create a new solid. So let's call it Mould. Okay. And let's go ahead and apply the fractal noise. Now let's change this to rocky. Let's crank this contrast up. Maybe make it larger. Maybe about 200's good. And let's just bring this up to maybe about 10. And maybe play the evolution a little bit. Like that. And we'll duplicate it. And we'll set this down to maybe like 140. And we'll set this to multiply. And you can see it's inside the white areas. So maybe we can just play with this a little more. Maybe adjust the contrast a bit. Like that. Okay. And what we're going to do is pre-compose this. So Control-Shift-C. Call this Mould Texture. Hit OK. And let's go ahead and just bring out the texture once more. And this time we want to apply the tint effect and the extract effect. And what this effect does is just extracts the white to create an alpha channel. So let's just bring this down and just stretch this out a bit. And just hide the mold texture and the brick. So you can see what we're trying to achieve here. It's creating this alpha between the cracks here. Just stretch this out even more. And we might even just add a bit of contrast to this. Maybe with the alpha as well. Like that. Okay. And we'll pre-compose this. Move all attributes and call this alpha. And we'll shut the eye off. Okay, let's go ahead and duplicate our background. Let's put it on top. And we'll call this Mould FX. And let's apply the CC glass effect on this. Okay. And let's select our Mould Texture. And let's just bring this down to about these values, and you can see what we're trying to achieve here. And we can even just play with the lighting a bit, maybe about 90. And let's just go ahead and apply our set matte effect. And let's just apply the alpha to this. So let's just solo this. So now it's only growing where the bricks are, and let's make another set matte effect, and this time we'll use the luminance for our mold texture. Okay, so now the mold only grows where the luminance shows. And we can even add a curves effect and maybe just bring a bit of contrast here. And maybe take away some red. add in some green, and maybe sharpen this alpha. Like that. Okay. So now the mold only grows where this grows. Okay, so we've got our mold happening here. Now let's go ahead and apply like a drop shadow effect. And let's just bring this up to 100. Maybe make this about 1 pixel. And let's bring it this way because we're going to be creating a light that comes from this direction. And let's just apply a inner shadow to this. So it's the normal. And maybe we can make the distance 3. And just change the direction a bit. Maybe 219. Same as our drop shadow. Maybe just a little bit that way. Okay, that looks cool. Alright, so next thing we have to do is create our circle mold. So we're going to make a new solid. And we'll call this circle Mould Texture. Okay, apply the cell pattern effect. Let's bring this up to 182. And let's bring the size to about 6. So it's relatively small. Maybe 7. Let's apply a turbulent and just give it some turbulence. Just subtle, not too much. Okay. Let's pre-compose this. Circle Mould Texture. Move all attributes and hit OK. And we'll just bring this down here. And we can duplicate our background again. Move it on top. Call this Circle Mould FX. And let's apply the CC glass effect. And let's change this to Circle Mould Texture. And let's just bring this down to like to these values. And let's just maybe adjust this lighting a bit. Let's apply our usual set matte effects. And we'll choose, for this one, we'll choose the alpha and we'll invert it. Actually, let's get rid of this set matte effect. Okay, and let's apply the curve adjustment and let's just adjust this a bit. Take away some red and some green, and we'll apply a drop shadow. Make this about 1, like that. Okay, so now we have some mold growing inside of here, and we might even just play with RGB a bit. Like that. Now, one critical thing that we need to do is create a matte for our mold, but we can't use the set matte because we're creating an animation for this, so we need a still frame. So let's open up our Mould Texture and let's just render a still frame for this. So hit Control Alt S for the render settings. Let's make this our full res. We'll leave it as a Photoshop sequence and save it wherever you want and hit render. Now I've already imported my Mould Texture here, so I'm just going to bring it out here and we'll set the track matte to Luma Matte. Let's invert it actually. So now we only have moss that's growing where the looks like the black. I don't know. I can't keep track. But anyway, we have an alpha channel. That's all that matters. Okay, and lastly, we need to add a inner shadow to this. So let's go layer styles, inner shadow. And if we come over here, we can just turn up the opacity, set this to normal, and we'll make it about 2. And we'll put in the direction for our drop shadow. It's about 1/3. Maybe we'll put a 180 for both. Okay, cool. Alright, so now we've got a shadow. Now let's go ahead and create some weed for our scene here. So let's duplicate our circle mold. And what we're going to do is just turn off this CC glass and the set matte effect. And let's apply the CC hair effect. Put it in between the curves and the drop shadow. And let's just get rid of the inner shadow effect. So let's get rid of that. And let's firstly change the color. It's more of a greenish color. And let's bring the opacity up and the inheritance up. And let's make this about 60. And make constant mass. And let's just bring these values down. So we have our grass here, or moss, or weed, sorry. Yeah, let's just bring these values down. And for our set matte effect, we can use the luminance channel to reveal and hide for what's being revealed. So we can use that. And we can add a curves adjustment and just give a bit more green. Take away some red. Like that. Put a shadow last. Okay, so next thing we have to do is create just a wind for our weed here. So let's just create a new solid. I'll call this wind. Apply the fractal noise effect. And let's just set this to no track. And let's just alt click the evolution, hit time, star maybe about, I don't know, 75. And that will give us an animation. Pre-compose this, wind, okay. Just hide this, let's put it underneath our mold. And let's call it, select the wind. There we go. Now the wind is being influenced, or the weed is being influenced by the wind. Okay. Alright, maybe adjust this a bit more. Like that. One last final tip we can do is just add some particles to this. So I've used number 13, and we can just time stretch this, maybe about 150 is a good value. Move it over a bit. Set this to add, and let's just scale it up. Apply the curves effect. Just create a large contrast so that these particles will fly in. And then we can apply the VC color vibrance. We add a bit of warmth to this. And drop that to 0.5. Okay. And we'll just duplicate this and then just slide this over. And we can even make this back to its original. And slide it like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's just apply some color correction to our background. So let's apply the curves and just give this a little bit of contrast here. Maybe add just a touch of red and a little bit of blue just to out. Don't want it to be too yellow. And let's just apply the hue and saturation. And for our tint, let's just make this red. Let's make this like 5%, so that we just get just a touch. Okay, let's go ahead and just create two adjustment layers. Control Y, Control Y. Let's just move these on top here. Let's label this as vignette. And CC. Apply the curves and just darken this. We add our usual mask and feather it out. And we'll add a curves adjustment to this. And what we're going to do is just bring some of that white down and make it a little bit dark. And we'll just maybe take away a bit of red. Just a hint of blue. And maybe just a bit of green. Like that. I'll explain why. Okay, and let's just grab the unsharp mask. And let's just bring that to about 30 and 1.5. Put on top here. Might even add some noise. Not that. About 10%. And we can even just add it like a tint effect and drop that down to like 30%. And let's create. Okay, cool. Alright, let's go ahead and create a new solid and we'll call this light. Okay, let's apply the lens flare effect and we'll make it 105 millimeter. And we'll set this to add. We'll just shine it up here, maybe about 130. And we'll just put it underneath our color correction. Okay. We can even add the VC color vibrance and just make it a little warm. Like that. Okay. Alright, let's just take a preview of this. Alright, let's check this out. Okay, not bad. Alright, so first things first, with this particles, I might just make a little bit more contrast to this. And same goes for this one. And obviously the yellow is going to kick in, so I'll have to bring that down. Some more. Alright, so we want to make some moss grow out of our scene here. So what we can do is go to the Mould Texture, and let's just go ahead and animate the contrast and brightness for our fractal noise. So let's go ahead and set a keyframe for both of these, and just move this across. U, by the way, is to bring up the keyframes. U for umbrella, and just slide these down to maybe about 0 and 0, like that. That way it will reveal like that. So if we take a look at this, it will reveal the moss. Cool. And for our circle mold, we can hit T for opacity, and just let's go to the 5-second. Hit a stopwatch for that, and maybe a stopwatch for the height, and then just come to the end, or beginning, sorry. So down to 0, hit T, bring that down to 0. Okay, cool. And then lastly for our, let's call this weed effects, let's animate the length. So make this 0, and we'll set a keyframe, move it forward maybe about 4 seconds, and make it 60. And we'll just shift this by 2 seconds, like that. Okay. Okay. So let's just take a preview for this. Okay, let's check this out. Okay, nice. It's looking grainy because I set this to 3rd res, so, and it's looking too yellow. Maybe I'll just delete the color vibrance effects. And then for our color correction, I'll just bring that back down to like 30%. And yeah, I'll set the opacity to like 60, like that, and the grain to about 5% noise. Okay, so if we put this, watch this at full res, let's have a look at this. Okay, let's check this out. Kind of looks funny because it's not playing in real time, but you get the idea. So you can just adjust maybe the weed length, maybe to grow, maybe after the mold has come out. But you can just make the changes you want to do. Maybe you could play with the shadow as well, or something, I don't know. Anyway guys, thank you very much. As usual guys, my name's David. I hope you learned interesting techniques that you can use for your own creations. Please give a like if you like this video so people can find it. Subscribe if you're new, and be sure to hit that bell button to get the notifications. And comment down below if you have any questions. And I'll see you in the next video.